Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
What's good, everyone? This is Fresh Pair back with another performance review. Before anything else, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and add me on Instagram. All the links will be in the description box below. Now let's take a look at the Nike Hyperrev 2016. I've hooped in these for 6 days, or a total of about 16 hours of full court games, drills, and one-on-one situations. I must say that I personally liked hooping in this. But let's take a more detailed analysis of how the shoes perform on the court. Let's get it. Let's start with the materials. There is a zoom unit at the forefoot and another one at the heel. The rubber outsole surface consists of parallelograms that are stiff. The toe section is decoupled and has flex grooves that outline the forefoot zoom. There is also a small out trigger. Now the midsole is Phylon and it feels like a softer version than its previous iterations. As for the upper material, it is mesh at the medial and Hyperfuse at the toe box and lateral. There is a strap that actually starts at the top of the midfoot and locks at the Velcro on the medial. There is an internal plastic heel cup that runs up near the bottom of the ankles. Now there is also an external plastic heel unit that is ribbed, and the ribs are soft and pliable, but it's there more for aesthetics and less for function. Honestly, it's like the human appendix. I don't exactly know what it is for. Inside the shoe, you have a full-length mesh inner sleeve. As for the lacing system, the laces are standard, nothing fancy there. The lacing straps at the lateral are stitched on the upper material. However, the lacing straps at the medial are not, or at least not quite. As a result, you can pull some of their length out of the lacing holes when you press down the upper material. However, the straps are not the bungee type, they do not stretch. I can say that the shoe feels light on feet, although it can feel just a bit clunky if you're not used to hooping in shoes with straps. As for durability, I think that the shoe can last for quite a while despite using it for rugged play. The Hyperfuse sections can really grind it out, and the rubber outsole can take a beating, which brings us to the next topic, traction. Traction is probably the best performance aspect of the Nike Hyperrev 2016. On my first day of testing the shoes, I had to walk on a stretch of road full of dirt and gravel before reaching the court. I didn't wipe the outsole once I arrived as we had to start the 5-on-5 game immediately. Surprisingly, after a minute or two, the traction went from good to great. No sliding whatsoever, even if most areas of the court was moderately dusty, with some portions dustier than the rest. The rubber treads are stiff and they really bite the floor. Court grip was great on lateral stops, crossovers, forefoot stops, heel strikes, or basically any type of movement. Still, I suggest wiping the outsole when dust has already collected in order to maintain consistency of its good grip. Also, make sure that you plant your feet firmly on the court when doing sudden shifts in movements. Otherwise, no shoe will prevent your feet from slipping. Now, is the Nike Hyperrev 2016 good enough for outdoor hooping? Well, I think so. The outsole pattern is stiff enough to withstand friction with rough surfaces. I do not know if the rubber compound used here is Nike's XDR, but it feels like it is close to it. Just remember that debris will clog the spaces between the outsole patterns if you plan to hoop in these on outdoor courts. As for transition, it is generally fluid. Initially, it felt like the heel-to-toe transition was a little bit disconnected. I felt it on first day while walking my way to the court, but it eventually went away for some reason. Transition became smooth after barely a minute of playing in my pair. On the second to the fifth day, I got perfectly used to it. It's a good thing that the heel and the toe sections of the outsole are connected by a bridge at the lateral of the outsole's midfoot section. In fact, It's the only thing that connects the surface of the heel and toe sections of the outsole. Now without this bridge, I think the heel to toe transition will be a bit sloppy. Overall, the traction of the Nike Hyperrev 2016 is very good. It is probably the best at this early point of the year among all of the shoes I have hooped in so far. It is consistent across different courts as well. Can't get that much consistency from many hooping shoes out today. Straight out of the box, you can feel the heel zoom compress. The forefoot zoom felt responsive as well right off the bat. My initial impression of the overall cushioning was that it will be good on the court, and I was right. By my standards, of course. Now here's why. The heel zoom absorbs adequate impact on hard heel strikes without slowing you down. Sprints become comfortable instead of feeling like a punishment. On the other hand, the forefoot zoom provides sufficient rebound during push-offs and jumps. The forefoot zoom is not as good as unlocked zoom, but I think it is a level or two near it. Personally, the zoom in the Nike Hyperrev 2016 is the best so far in a non-signature shoe from the swoosh. I think it even outperforms the zoom units in some of Nike's recent signature kicks. Note that the zoom units are encased in Phylon. Interestingly, the Phylon midsole is softer than its previous versions in recent years. It's not as soft as standard EVA foam midsoles, but it has decent compression. In fact, the Phylon midsole in my pair already had some compression marks after only 2 hours of hooping. Now they are good initial signs of how the midsole absorbs and diffuses the force from floor contact. The more you play in the shoes, the more give, so to speak, the Phylon midsole provides, and it allows the zoom units to compress even better because a softer encasement means a little more stretch room. Now as for court feel, there is just enough, although it feels like it is a little below average, if not average. To be clear, it is not bad, but it can be better, and it will be better once the Phylon midsole breaks in even more. The fit is kind of interesting. For the most part, go true to size if you have feet with normal width. Wide footers, however, will find it challenging to put their feet inside the shoe, particularly past the opening of the inner sleeve. Now going a half size up will not be of any help. Even if you wait for the materials to break in, it won't be significant enough. Part of the reason to this is that the shoes use a semi-curved last. Another reason is that the Hyperfuse material at the lateral has not enough stretch. In other words, it restricts any stretch from the internal mesh. On first wear, it felt like there was some unnecessary space at the heel. The extra space is not too pronounced, but you can feel it. I think this could have been easily resolved by using thicker foam pads at the heel. Now I don't suggest going a half size down just to minimize that extra heel space because it won't work. As for the strap, it adds midfoot lockdown on initial wear. It complements the lacing system by providing additional midfoot containment. However, the strap can easily unfasten, particularly at its edge, and it has the tendency to do so during sprints on full court games. When unstrapped partially or completely, you will feel the midfoot section relax a bit, thus losing some very minor lockdown in the process. However, it isn't significant. Personally, I don't think it is a disconcerting issue as it didn't bother me too much. In fact, my feet still felt fine. I have also never experienced the shoes falling out of my feet even if the strap was unfastened, which is to say, you can hoop in this without strapping up. Just make sure to lace up tight, but I suggest that you strap up. Besides, you can put the strap back on very quickly if it loosens up. The lacing system also helps the shoe provide you with decent fit, although I would have preferred it if the lace straps at the medial were stitched on and underneath the mesh material, or perhaps Nike should have reversed things. The medial straps should have been stitched in a fixed position, while the lateral straps should have been given a bit of stretch room. As for ventilation, the shoe is partially breathable. I feel like the ventilation on this shoe is a little below average due to that hyperfuse material despite the mesh throat and mesh portions of the upper. Basically, the textile beneath the upper can trap some heat. I've had no blisters or extensive sweating in my feet though. Overall, I can't say that the fit is spectacular, although this can be a matter of personal preference. I think the best solution for you is to try on a pair if you can. If you can't, just go true to size if your feet has normal width. The Nike Hyperrev 2016 has adequate support. It is not outstanding, it is also not above average, however it is more like average, and much of the average support comes from the fit despite some minor lapses. Earlier I have mentioned that the strap adds midfoot lockdown when fastened. I have also pointed out that the straps can unfasten during sprints, although you can quickly refasten them. To help reduce the situation where your lace knot can get caught between the strap and the throat, I suggest you use the tab at the tongue by inserting or tying your laces through it. Use the tongue tab as your last eyelet, so to speak. Although it will not prevent the strap from unfastening, it will at least keep your lace knot away from the strap. In other words, it prevents the lace knot from getting caught between the strap and the tongue when the strap becomes unfastened and you try to fasten the strap back. Besides, I think it is what the tongue tab is for. There is an internal plastic heel counter, which obviously isn't the ribbed external plastic accessory at the heel, but it does not fully hug your heel. Its angle of opening is a bit wide. It does not help at all with the minimal side-to-side and upward sliding in the heel area. If it's any consolation, your heel won't be rubbing against the heel counter. There will be no outright discomfort at the heel of any kind. If you want to know if the mesh sleeve offers some support, let me put it directly. It does nothing as far as support goes. Nada, zero, zilch. Again, like the human appendix, it's a mystery to me why it is there. While the mesh sleeve allows for good range of motion at the ankle area, the same effect could be had without it. Moving on, the Hyperfuse material at the lateral has little to no stretch. As a result, you will have zero internal sliding at the footbed during hard cuts and crossovers. Your feet will be where they are supposed to be inside the shoes. Also, if you are looking for torsional rigidity, note that this has no TPU shank at the midfoot. There is a clear plastic window at the heel where you can see the zoom, but this plastic piece does not extend to the midfoot. If torsional rigidity is a big factor for you, this is a no-go, especially since the Phylon midsole will soften up the more you play in the shoes. Personally though, I don't mind. There is an out trigger. Although I feel that it is somehow short, I've had no problems. I didn't roll my ankles and neither did my feet teeter sideways. Each step was steady. It's also a good thing that the cushioning is not mushy or plush. Otherwise, it might cause some stability concerns given the overall structure and setup of the Nike Hyperrev 2016. One last note, the toe section is slightly elevated, and the flex points at the outsole help the shoe complement your feet's natural flex. But keep in mind that it does not give your feet that forward feeling, as though the outsole is pushing your feet to take a step ahead. It can be a good thing, a bad thing, or just nothing. It all depends on your preference. Personally, I think it is just fine. In conclusion, the Nike Hyperrev 2016 is a very good hooping shoe. The traction is both grippy and consistent. The materials are durable even if they are not glamorous by any measure. The fit may be a bit off for some, but I personally have no significant issues with the fit. Cushioning is also a bit above average than most zoom setups today. Support is adequate, although it could have been better had the fit been top of the line. If price is a big factor for you, then this should be one of your primary options. Ultimately, I give the Nike Hyperrev 2016 a grade of A-, which is equivalent to 90 to 93 points out of a maximum 100. That's about it for now. Please like this video. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel for more performance reviews. You may also add me on Instagram. For the full transcript of this review, check out my website www.freshfare.ph. All the links will be in the description box below. Thank you guys. I appreciate the support. It is both humbling and inspiring. Have a great day everyone. On to the next.